Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be drafting out a shirt dress. So if this is something you are interested in, please keep on watching. If you've not subscribed yet to the channel, please subscribe, and if you've already subscribed to the channel, thank you so much for subscribing. So let's get started with the pattern drafting. So the things I'm going to be using for this tutorial is just my tape rule, the scissors, my pins, and then my measurement book. So let's get started with the tutorial. Now to draft out the tutorial, I'm going to be drafting out the back pattern first before I draft out the front pattern. So I'll be using the back pattern of the dress to cut out on the front pattern of the dress. So the fabric I'm using is 3 yards. So now I'm going to be folding out 1.5 yards for the back, and I'm also going to be folding out another 1.5 for the front. So that's 3 yards. So now I folded the fabric into 2. And I'm going to be drawing out a straight line from the edge of the fabric, exactly what I'm doing right now, which is going to be my starting line to take my measurements. So that will be the starting line to take all of the measurements. So now the next measurement I'm going to be taking is my waistline measurement. So the waistline I'm working with is 22 inches because the person I'm working with is on the big side. So our half length is actually 22 inches. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to be repeating the 22 inches so that I can get a straight line when drawing a straight line on the fabric. So I'll convert my markings into a straight line now. So now for the neck measurement. The neck measurement I'm using is 3.5 by 1. So I'm using 3.5 because the person I'm working with is on the big side. But if you want to make your own, you can make it 3. For a smaller size person, you can make it 3. For a bigger size person, you can do 3.5, 4. So I'm making 3.5 by 1. So now the next measurement I'm going to be taking is the shoulder measurement. That is from the middle of your neck measurement to the length of the sleeve you want to work with. So the length of the sleeve I'm working with altogether is 30. So I'm going to be marking out that 30 out. So now the next measurement is the sleeve opening. So for the sleeve opening, I'm working with 11. I'm sorry it's not showing on the camera. So it's going to be 11. So the sleeve opening I'm working with is 11. So you can work with as much as you want. You can work with as small as you want. If you don't want too much gathers at the hand side, then you can work with 9, 10. Or if you want much, then you can work with as much as 15, as much as 12. So you can work with that. But right now I'm working with 11. So now I'm going to be placing the hip measurements on the waistline. The reason is because the dress is going to be a straight dress. So I'm going to be placing the hip measurement on the waistline. So I'm going to be connecting from the waistline down to the hip measurement and down to the full length of the dress. So after I was done doing that, so because that part was not showing, so I just had to cut them away. So now I just connected my waistline to my shoulder line. So from here I'm now going to go in on my waistline by 2 inches. Then I'll connect that 2 inches back to my shoulder line and connect it back to my hip line. So now for the front part of the dress, the front part is going to be we have like 3 inches in front of it. Like from what you are seeing, you notice that there's a 3 inches in front of my back allowance, which is going to be for my bottom placket. So that 3 inches I'm leaving there is for the bottom placket. So now we're connecting that 3 inches. So I'm just taking 3 inches all down to the end of the dress. So I'm just connecting it into a straight line here. So I'm just using the back part of the dress to cut out the front, since I'm not adding anything or any design to the front, so it's just the same thing. So I'm just cutting it out right now. So when I'm done cutting out this part, I'm also going to cut out the starting line for the front. Also, you can see there's a starting line there. I'm also going to cut that out. So now for the neck of the front, I'm going to be coming down by 3 inches. I'll be coming down by 3 inches. Remember, for the front I came down by 1 inches. So for the back, for the back I came down by 1 inch. Then now for the front, I'm going to be coming down by 3 inches, and I'm just going to trace out the necklines. So I'm just going to curve it out and bring out the shape of the neckline. Then I'm going to cut it out. So I'll just open up the middle of the front line, the front dress, then I'll use it for my bottom placket. I'll show you how you fold it for your bottom placket too. for the band that will be on the sleeve. So now I'm just going to cut out 10 inches. So 10 inches for the two. So 10 inches for one of the sleeve and that 10 inches for another part of the sleeve. Then I'll just cut them out. So now here is the front of the dress after I've taken it to the sewing machine and I've sewn the button placket. So now, and I've joined the shoulder part of the dress. So what is just next is the collar part, and I'm going to be showing you how to insert the collar. So firstly, you fold your fabric, your dress into two, just the way I picked it. So when you do that, then you measure all round. So exactly what you get is what you are going to be using to cut out the collar. You're not going to be adding any sewing allowance. So you're just keep watching. I'm going to be cutting the collar also, so you'll be seeing the way I did everything. So I have like 11.75. So if I fold it into two, I'm having 23 and a half. So now I'm working with 23 and a half to make. So now for your collar, you are going to, the measurements we got from the neck, you are going to place it on the paper. You make sure the paper is on fold. Then the measurement I measured from the neck was 11.75. So that's where I marked there. So from that point I marked, I will go up by ½ inch. So when I go up by ½ inch, I will now connect that ½ inch to the middle of the collar that way. So now I'm cutting the collar stand and the collar is set together, so not half. So now the next thing I'll do is that I'm going to be measuring 1½ inches up for my collar stand. So 1½ inches. So that's what I'm going to be measuring. So I'll measure it all around so that I can have, that will be my collar stand. So 1½. So on that place where you measured ½ inches already, you will still go up by 1½. Don't measure from the under, like measure from on top of the ½ inch, then measure your 1½. It's going to give you like a curvy effect. So that's what we want, Sha. So you measure that way too, just exactly the way I'm doing it. So now you now measure your collar stand. So the collar stand I'm working with is 2½. So I'll measure 2½ on top of it, just the way I'm doing it. So if I were to cut the collar stand differently, then the collar too differently, I would have cut the collar stand and cut it out, then start cutting the collar. But because I'm cutting it together, so that's what I'm doing here. So now you just connect from the point and you connect it down to your collar stand. Then you connect these points, the 3 points together. So on top of the collar stand, you are going to measure 1 inch. Then you connect from the tip of your collar down to that 1 inch you measured. Just the way I'm doing it. Just do it exactly the way I'm doing it. It's very easy to make. So from there you now cut everything out. So our collar is ready. collar stand, I'm just cutting out a little bit, like ½ inch, so that the collar will relax on the neck very well. So that's, I'm just cutting out that ½ inch. So I cut it out on the fabric. So now I've cut it out on the fabric. I cut it out I cut out two fabric of the same sizes. Then I added ½ inches round the collar. Then I cut out exactly the pattern on my interfacing. So I did not add any ½ inch to the interfacing, but for the fabric I'm using, I added ½ inch. So now I'm going to show you how to sew it. So you sew the collar part, not the collar stand part, because you'll be connecting the collar stand to the dress. So but you have to finish up the collar itself. So that's what I'm going to just watch the way I'll be sewing it. I'm not going to be fast forwarding this part so that, or increase the speed of this part so that you see exactly the way I'm doing it. So when I was done sewing, I now turned it and I gave it a very good press. So this is it. You will notice there's a collar stand there and there's a collar. So I'm going to attach it to the dress right now. So I'm going to be attaching one part of the collar stand. You'll see the way I'll be connecting it. Then I'll be using the other parts to cover it up. So you see the way I'll attach it now. You'll notice that I opened the collar a bit So I'm going to be attaching that part that has the interfacing to the dress, to the neck of the dress first. Then I'll take the other part and I'll fold it into half and connect and use it to cover up the stitch I made. So just keep watching, you'll see the way I did it. So now after I was done using pins to hold down that part, I'm now showing you how I'm going to be placing that to cover it up. As you can see what I did. So that's just how to make it. It's as simple as that.